Hey, this is Jason from Strength Running, and I want to do something today that I don't normally do, which is review a product. Now, normally I don't do this because I don't really think it matters what I think about a pair of shoes or a running water bottle. They're much more of an example of personal preference. Shoes, water bottles, clothing and gear, wear what works best for you. But when it comes to certain products, I think it does help to get some additional guidance, and that's what we're going to do today. So the product that I'm reviewing today is a little bit different, and it's this desk right here. I'm actually sitting in front of a standing desk. This is an adjustable standing desk by a company called Fully. It's the Jarvis desk. And I want to talk about sitting down for prolonged periods of time and the impact that that can have on your running, because it's not good. Sitting down for long periods of time is going to make you very tight. It's going to shorten your hip flexors, your quadriceps. It's going to make running and activating your glutes after a period of a prolonged sitting much more challenging. And I'll be the first one to say that a standing desk is not actually the solution, because the solution to all this prolonged sitting, all this sedentary behavior that is very common, is not just to replace that sitting with standing. Because the fact of the matter is, standing actually is not that much better than sitting. It's going to exacerbate any back problems that you have or predispose you to some back pain. If you have varicose veins or are at risk of getting varicose veins, say for example if you're really pregnant, then a standing desk is probably not the best option for you. But the solution is not to sit or to stand. The solution is variety. We want to put ourselves through a variety of different positions and movements throughout the day so that we are not putting ourselves in just one position. Our muscles are plastic after all. They remember the positions that we put them in. And so if we are spending 8 hours a day hunched up in a chair or standing at a desk, then we're going to develop some problems. So in this video, what I want to do is talk a little bit more about the benefits of varying your movements throughout the day with a tool like a standing desk, and talk more about this particular desk. This is the Jarvis adjustable standing desk, and it's pretty gorgeous. So why should runners think about a standing desk? Well, first and foremost, it gets you to move more throughout the day. If you're varying how your body is positioned throughout the day, standing, sitting, kneeling, and many other different positions that you can do with an ergonomic chair, for example, then you're going to feel a lot better after work. And this is particularly important for those runners who might run after the workday. And so I think a lot of us have had experience with sitting down for 4 or 5 hours at a stretch, getting up, and then immediately trying to go into a run. And we know how bad that feels. And so a standing desk can help mitigate that and make you feel a lot better on your runs. And I'm not the first one to recognize that feeling better on our runs is a very good thing. Now, the second thing that you can expect from using a standing desk and a chair like this particular Tic-Toc chair that I'm sitting on is you're going to run more economically. And this is a great benefit because, like I mentioned before, if you're tight, if your muscles have not been woken up by a really good warm-up and you've been spending a lot of time sitting down, your running economy is going to be lower. You're not going to be able to go through those normal ranges of motion, and that's problematic. So by being in a more varied positions throughout the day, by moving more, you're essentially putting yourself through a longer warm-up. And that is going to help you feel better on your run, and part of that is because you're running more economically. The other really cool thing about having a standing desk and using it appropriately is the fact that it's actually going to enhance your recovery. And that's because active recovery almost always beats passive recovery. And so by standing more, by kneeling or sitting down cross-legged at a desk when it's in the very low position and alternating that with sitting down, you're going to be getting more blood flow to your legs, you're going to be more active, you're going to move more, and that's going to help that recovery process. I think we all have had a time in our lives where we go for a hard workout or a long run, and then we just sit down in a chair or sit on the couch afterwards, and we sit there for an hour or two, and we know how bad you feel when you stand up again. And so by varying our movements and our positions and being more mobile throughout the day, putting ourselves through greater ranges of motion, it's a win-win. You're going to have that longer warm-up before you go running, and if you run before work, you're just going to be moving more and furthering along that recovery process. I also think there's a lot to say about standing for longer periods of time and building a little bit more resiliency. Now, if you're training for an ultra marathon, this is not just more time on your feet, which will help you with the physical side of training, but also the mental side of training. If you can endure 2 hours of standing up, then you're building more mental toughness, more mental fitness skills that are going to help you with not just your training, but your racing. So let's take a look at this Jarvis adjustable standing desk that I have. It is truly a gorgeous piece of furniture. I got the bamboo tabletop, which is truly one of a kind. No tabletop is the same because of how the pieces are put together and dried in the kiln. The really beautiful tabletop finish that you see is not just unique, but it's made without any kind of dyes or stains or anything like that. The colors that you see are because of the drying process that they use. So I think that's really interesting just from a style perspective. And also the metal alloy frame that I got is an awesome contrast to the light bamboo color. And that frame can also hold 350 pounds. This thing is a workhorse. So I can raise and lower this desk with a full cup of coffee, my laptop, a lamp, and a pile of books on there. And I know that not only is this thing going to raise up all that weight, but it's going to do so smoothly, and my coffee isn't going to spill all over the place. So is a standing desk for you? That's really hard for me to say. I think if you're an injured runner, if you're someone who's predisposed to back pain or varicose veins, predisposed to getting swollen feet or ankles, then a standing desk might not be for you. But if you are a healthy runner and you're looking to take your training to the next level, then I think a standing desk can be an important tool in your training toolbox. And I consider it a valuable injury prevention tool. Now, of course, you know, the training that you're doing, the strength training, those kinds of aspects of your life are much more important to your overall health and longevity as a runner than whether or not you use a standing desk. But we shouldn't ignore the lifestyle side of things. And that's because, you know, what you do the other 23 hours of the day is just as important to your success as a runner as what you do during that 1 hour or, you know, whatever amount of time that you're running. And that's because that other 23 hours a day, that's your lifestyle. That's how much sleep you're getting, how much stress you're experiencing, what your diet and your fueling choices are like. And it's also about how sedentary you are outside of formal exercise. Now, standing is not exercise. It will not replace any exercise that you're doing, but it is an important way to vary your movements and positions throughout the day. That's the real key here. We're looking for variety. And so if you are that kind of runner, then I think a standing desk is a really valuable option for you. It prompts you to stand, to sit, to kneel, and to generally move a lot more. And when you couple that with the type of stool that I'm sitting on, this Tic-Toc stool, it's a game changer. I know for me personally, I feel just absolutely amazing at the end of a workday now that I have this kind of an office setup. And this Tic-Toc tool, it can rock back and forth, it can swivel around, it can do all kinds of really fun things so that if I'm just bored at work for a couple minutes, I'll take a couple spins around this stool and I'll feel amazing. Just be careful, don't tick more than you can talk. Now, I'm really interested in what you have to say. What do you do the other 23 hours of the day when you're not running? You know, we can talk about long runs and workouts and all the progressions that we're doing in our training, but if that's not supported by a lifestyle that's conducive to running, then we're not going to get as much out of the sport. So leave a comment under this video. I'm really curious what you do in your life, in your just daily lifestyle that helps your running. Whether that's a stand-up desk, whether you got a mattress that's designed just for runners for recovery, or many of the other options that are out there. So leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think.